Good afternoon, Guyana, and thank you once again for joining us for another edition of Government in Transition. My name is Hugh Todd, and this afternoon we have with us two of our national candidates, Ms. Tracey Shamsudeen, who is a national candidate with the People's Progressive Party Civic, as well as Dr. Grayson Halley, who is also national candidate and a university lecturer, University of Guyana British campus. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon to the viewers and stay tuned.
Thank you for inviting me. Always a pleasure being here.
So, Tracey and Grayson, we are in the 120 or 30 plus days following March 2nd elections, and we're still yet to have a declaration. But recent events has allowed us to focus now on some amount of geopolitics. I mean, it's important for us because we recognize that we are within a community of nations within this hemisphere and globally, and we must subscribe to certain global rules and values. And our national behavior should be consistent with what is acceptable norms within the global environment. The United States State Department, the State Dr. Pompeo, yesterday mentioned that sanctions were in effect. And he went as far as to say that the Guyanese administration should step aside and allow the newly elected president implicitly to take up office. He is concerned that what is happening in Guyana can affect the Caribbean community, the stability of the Caribbean community. As we all know, these types of occurrences can have a domino effect. And the United States is very concerned that this can actually spill over to other countries. The sanction itself, I want you to look at the sanctions and the timeliness of it, given the fact that Mike Pompeo has been making many remarks, giving us a lot of warnings about two persons who may be responsible for undermining our democracy. I'll begin with you, Tracey.
I think, pleasant good afternoon again to the viewers out there. For me, sanctions is always, when you have people that don't want to give in to the will of the government, that don't want to give in to the will of the people, you must have sanctions. Especially in time like this when we have the COVID-19, the people cannot go out there and do mass protesting as before. So we need the international community to help us to make sure that the will of the people is respected. I mean, the local government election already gave the world, Guyana and the world, a perspective of how the general election would have gone. So even without the recount, everyone already knew that the people wasn't there with the government, with the current government. So the outcome of the election, the general election, was inevitable. The things that they did, the people were not in accordance with what they did. Right? They had no plan, they had no vision. So the world knew that the PPP would have won. PPP knew, we knew that we would have won, and APNU, AFC knew that the PPP would have won. So they started their rigging intention from very early, right? I don't think they had it fully planned out step by step, but everyone knew that they would have gone down that road of trying to rig the election. So we are very happy that the international community are heading down that line and are serious about it. They are not only talking now, they are putting it into action. And I would like to see more. More should be coming soon. So I would like to see more coming their way. We need the help. We need all the help we can get. Guyana is actually tired. We are tired the youths, even the youths of the APNU, they are tired of the lies and the propaganda and the spins that the leaders, that the APNU leaders are taking them through. Right? When they talk about the knee on the knees on Guyana, it's correct. APNU have a knee on Guyana's neck. They are suffocating us. We cannot move forward. So the international community need to give us a helping hand, and I welcome that.
Thank you, Grayson. Tracey, your views on the timeliness of the effect.
In terms of the timeliness of the sanctions, I mean, we've had a recount. The world organizations have issued statements to the public stating that they are in support of the numbers which came out of the recount. It's no secret to anyone that those numbers reflect a win for the PPP. Organizations have asked Granger, Dictator Granger, to step aside and to give and transition power to the leaders of the PPP. He has refused to do so far, and it's clear also that if you were to look at the claims there, and the motions of APNU, it seems very circular. So in terms of timeliness of sanctions, they have not been issued too early. We can see another court case and another court case coming forward every move that GECOM makes, because they're questioning they're questioning everything every step of the way. So I don't think that these sanctions are the imposition of sanctions has come too early, because we can see this again. We can see the circularness of all of this. What we can all estimate or assume what may happen next. So it's only time that the international world starts to put some kind of pressure on these officials to act, because of course the citizens in Guyana are suffering because we can't see economic development on the current regime that we have.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Trace. I think all of Guyana would be on board with the decision of the State Department. I think people have realized that the Congress place has been trying to use every effort to have a declaration that would only see David Granger return to power, and we know that is against the will of the people. And I believe that we're all on board with the fact that the State Department's action yesterday speaks well for democracy in the region, and particularly here in Guyana. I want to move to the next topical point, and that is the press conference by Joseph Harman, who is the General Secretary for the APNU arm of the coalition. And he made it clear to I should say, Guyana and his constituency that the government was not officially formed by Washington, at least last when he checked, and they were a bit concerned that Washington was not being fair to Guyana, because we still have a court system. Argue that we're still abiding by the rule of law, and we're waiting for a declaration. He went on to say that they had 3 declarations from the CEO. They're still holding on to the view that they have won these elections, and they feel that Guyana should start looking toward each other for solidarity, and we should try to resist foreign interference. How do you view those statements made by the General Secretary for the APNU, Tracey?
Well, first of all, we've had 3 reports by a rogue CEO. So a CEO who has done exactly what Granger has asked him, has said. Granger at one time, when he had a press conference at State House, he said, there's no issue in flaking off a few numbers off of the votes. And so said, so done by Lowenfield. Of course, he's a rogue actor. And, you know, the visa revocation, again, as if you listen to the press release by the ambassador earlier today, she said that this is a private issue. I'm not going to publicize whose visa was revoked. But if those persons decide that they're going to jump on a plane and decide they want to go to the US, they will be informed that their visas have been revoked. This is, yes, not not a this is a mild form of sanctions for the individuals, but they will be informed at that time. They don't need a formal letter being issued to the individuals that, look, you've been sanctioned.
Yeah. Thank you.
I
Great.
think the whole situation has become so laughable. The court cases are so frivolous, so childish. I don't have word what to say. It's the Caribbean, the rest of the world is just laughing at us with these kind of going to court for simple things, interpretation of trying to put valid and what, and now to a plain order from the CCJ now have to be interpreted further again for them to understand. It's just trying to prolong, it's just becoming childish now. So the Guyanese people are tired of that, right? So when I would like to see tomorrow self, just for Harman's statements and so that he made, they should make him the example for us and freeze his assets and his bank accounts and so on, and let it, and that one must be public so that the world can see, right? So they should do that. They should start sanctioning Harman, start from Harman, and make sure the world know what they are doing to him and how much money he gets. Let we know what assets he have also, right? So things like that. If they want to play this childish game, you understand me? US should step up because they are just being just pushing the world, us around as Guyanese and pushing the world around because everybody's waiting to do business with Guyana. People want to come to Guyana and invest in Guyana, and they just holding on there and have the country at standstill. We cannot continue like this, man. They cannot be playing with us like that, like this. So they need to continue with the sanction. I would agree. I would welcome any other sanctions that they take. Now with Lowenfield and his reports, them, man, no way in the law, how can anybody conceive, that is so childish, that one man can just unilaterally take out votes, votes like that. Do his own calculation, whatever that max is that, jumpy max is that, and take out votes and put whoever he wants to win. Well, then we shouldn't have been fighting for the chairman post. We should have been fighting for the CEO post. Right? Instead of the almost months of court story for Claudette to be appointed, and we should have been fighting for the CEO because he seems to be more powerful. He seems to give himself so much powers and so on. So the thing is so laughable. So the youth out there, I move around a lot, and the youths out there, they are tired. They don't, on both sides, they're saying, man, let the country move on. Let the country move forward. Everyone knows that PPP have won. Everyone saw the recount and witnessed it every day. People are glued to their TV, to the social media, watching and listening to the recount and so on. So the people are tired. They already know the future, that the PPP won, and they know that the PNC or the APNO, whatever they call themselves now, are just playing around with the country. Right? So it's time we move on. Sanction them, man. Let them get sanctioned.
Thank you, Grayson. I think Guyanese, based on what we're seeing in the environment, they do not have an appetite for what is coming out of the APNU AFC camp, and I believe that the citizens of Guyana want us to move on with the declaration from the national recount, so that we can have a legal government in place and we can start first and foremost by fighting this global pandemic that has affected us and has implications for the economy itself. Now, moving to the next topical issue for the day is the fact that Ambassador Sarah Ann Lynch of the United States gave a press conference this morning, and that was to bring some clarity to the Secretary of State um, press conference yesterday. She sought to lay out um, in a very comprehensive way um, how the sanctions came about and why the sanctions coming into effect yesterday was appropriate. She did say that the United States is not targeting Guyana. Um, they do not favor any political party. They're looking at a process that should be democratic, and they're interested in the will of the people. She made that clear. She also said that the United States is not alone. We're talking about 130 countries plus that are on board saying to Guyana that we need to follow the rule of law and we need to accept the will of the people. And they're all of the view that the national recount is what should determine the winner. She is concerned for Guyana. She made it clear that we are a part of a global community, we are part of many organizations, and we need to step up. How do you view her statements, Tracey?
The U.S. could not possibly could be considered as targeting Guyana. If the U.S. is targeting Guyana, then 130 other countries are also targeting Guyana. You have Prime Minister Mia Mottley, who has spoken. She said the truth hurts. The chairman of CARICOM has spoken. The OAS has spoken. They've all spoken. All these national organizations that promote democracy in states, and they also promote international relations. The U.S. foreign policy is one which encompasses the entire world. They're always interested in ensuring that states abide by democratic principles, and so I would say the sanctions are not one are not that which is, we've seen country, it's not something different that they're imposing on Guyana that they haven't done to other countries who have in essence violated democratic principles. Venezuela, our next door neighbor, they're facing sanctions for a violation of democratic principles. Suriname, our neighbor on the other side, they have had an issue, and they've had an issue in their elections, which has now been resolved. Power has been transitioned to a new government just today. Then you had Brazil, who's on the southern end of Guyana. They have issued a statement to say the Guyana government needs to transition power. Everyone knows who won the elections. No one is favoring any particular party either. It is the numbers. They're all looking at the numbers, and they know that it is the PPP that has won. They know that the current administration has lost the elections, and it's time that the months, 4 months since the elections, it's time that power has been transitioned. No one is targeting Guyana in specific. These countries are interested in the national security of Guyana. They're interested in the people. They're interested they're interested to ensure that the will of the people are respected. In my opinion, they have no interest in influencing how the leaders will lead. So it's not a target on Guyana itself. The world organizations have done it in many other countries who have had rogue governments. So it's no it and history shows every time what happens when sanctions are imposed. Sanctions may start from visa revocations, and then it may grow and escalate to different things. And eventually the nation begins to suffer. So we're asking that Granger transitions power. We know which party won the March 2nd elections.
Yes, thanks. Grayson.
For me, I see it this way. We are at a position where we're supposed to be leading. Guyana is supposed to be leading. We have been recognized. We are the map from African continent. Everybody will look into Guyana. We're supposed to be leading. We have the oil and gas sector that was supposed to be taking us to new heights. This is not the time for Apnu and Granger and his cabal to be playing these things with the country, these kind of games with the country. This is the wrong time. And Guyanese in general should not stand idly by and let the country be stained in this manner. We need to stand up on all the divide and stop this shenanigan. I mean, in the beginning, maybe they could have been making a case, but after the recount shows who won, there is no case anymore. They were hiding the SOPs before. You understand? Up to now, they cannot produce it, nor GECOM cannot produce it, right? So persons, they don't know what actually thing apart from what they earned for the two main parties. But after the recount, the world get to know that PPP won. That is when you're supposed to just step aside and let the country breathe. You understand me? Let us develop, because this is the time for us to develop. Right? We cannot have our money sitting there. Right now we are punishing because of the pandemic, because we cannot treat our people right, because they have no government in place to lobby and get funds for us. Right? This is not the time for Granger and his cabal to be doing this to us. Look, sanctions is across. The APNO knows, the coalition knows about sanctions. They used to tell us how much persons on the PPP side got sanctioned. They know, they used to promote it. Now it seems that when it come against them, they say, "Oh no, the international community not supposed to be doing these things." But how would us Guyanese get help, right? And especially now that we can't go after we protesting for get international attention, thanks to our leaders, our vibrant intellectual leaders, they were able to fight against them.
Yes.
With limited resources, because we are in opposition. But our leaders are vibrant and visionary enough, you understand me, and smart enough to still up to date stand against them. And at many orders they had to fight. They put place many orders before the PPP and our leaders, and they were able to fight. And fight it in a diplomatic way, fight it in a just way, fight it so that day like today we can be closer to declaring Irfan Ali as the new president.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Grayson. Very passionate. I want to close. We have a few minutes left. I want to close by going back to GECOM, the commission itself, and the fact that sanctions are here, and the list has not been published, so no one would know if he or she is on the list unless they make an attempt to travel, or if their visa has expired and they try to have a new one issued. GECOM is at the core of the declaration. We know that. We know that the APNO FC is trying to prevent a declaration in favor of the People's Progressive Party Civic. But looking at the stance that the US would have taken yesterday, and an indication that Canada and the United Kingdom may also follow suit. What are your views on GECOM now when we get back to GECOM after the court proceedings? Given the fact that the GECOM chair has already indicated the direction that she's going in. She's already made it clear that the recount numbers are what will be used to determine the winner of these elections. We still have to have a CEO. As I understand it, Loinfield is still the CEO, if I'm correct. She did mention that failing that attempt, then the deputy CEO, Roxanne Myers, will take up the slack. With these sanctions now in place, what can we expect from interference within GECOM by Congress plays? Do we think that the Guyanese can breathe now, knowing that there's a amount of penalty that can be meted out against you if you try to undermine our democracy, and the chair would be allowed to do her work seamlessly now? Tracey.
I think the sanctions came at the right time. The sanctions came at the right time. It's because without the sanctions, they would have still be taken. I think they wouldn't be taking the chairman, the GECOM chairperson seriously. So I think now a little more pressure has been added, right? So that they can give them something to think about. That when they see now that the international community is actually serious, it's not only threats in words and so on, it's action now, right? So I think they will actually, at least I hope that this pressure is gonna bring some sense into them and let them give in to the will of the chairman. The chairman already spoke. She already said, listen, many times I thought that the chairman would have gone contrary to what the will of the people was. But every time she seems to come back on track and give me some hope, right? So when the last time at the last meeting when she said, get rid of those declarations, I was very happy. I think Guyana was very happy to hear that, right? Because the coalition was still saying, bring these old things. But when it came from her and she said, get rid of those and use the recount, I was very, very happy for that, right? And I would hold her to that. Let her continue in that same light, in that same vein. So I hope the court also, listening to the international community now, also do the right thing and force the chair to act swiftly, no delay and dilly-dallying, act swiftly to declare the PP victory and Irfan Ali our new president.
Thank you very much, Grayson. Tracey, your views.
This first stage of sanctioning puts the second stage of sanctioning in perspective. So those who are willing to act in contravention to what the law sets out and what the law states, they can now consider that there are consequences to their actions. So we'll see what's in store for GECOM after the court case.
Yes. So Grayson and Tracey, thank you, colleagues, for joining us today. We look forward to another eventful day tomorrow. Tomorrow's the oral arguments at the court. We should expect the judgment on Sunday. So hopefully in the new week, we should have the commission meeting again to have a declaration on the winner of the March 2nd elections. In the meantime, we want to encourage Guyana to remain strong, remain patient, remain vigilant, and continue to uphold democracy and its principles and values. And we all should always try to ensure that we respect the will of the people. So once again, thank you for joining us, and continue to follow us on our several programs during the day. And take care and bye. Take care, colleagues.
Thank you.
Thank you.